There is a conversation I never had, and the silence it left behind has been louder than anything I've ever said. This isn't a story about words, it's a story about the ones I swallowed and what they cost me. Her name was my grandmother, and for years she was the gravitational center of everything I called home. I told myself I'd call her next weekend, next month, next visit, the way you postpone a bill you're sure you can afford later. Here's the thing about time. It doesn't send warnings, it doesn't negotiate, and it absolutely does not care about your schedule. I had a whole speech, rehearsed gratitude, apology, the kind of raw honesty you spend decades avoiding, and I never once dialed the number. The catalyst, if we're being clinical about it, was fear dressed up as busyness. I was 26, convinced that emotional vulnerability was something you earned the right to express only after you had your life together, as if feelings had a prerequisite. Think of it like a stock you keep meaning to buy. You watch it, you research it, you tell yourself the timing isn't right yet, and then one morning it's gone from the market entirely. That's what delay does to a conversation. It doesn't pause it, it cancels it permanently. Psychologists call it procrastination of intimacy. And there's a darkly ironic comfort in knowing millions of people are doing the exact same thing right now while reading this. The optimism bias tells your brain that tomorrow is a safer, better, more emotionally available version of today. Spoiler, it usually isn't. I had 100 chances, and I want you to understand what that number actually feels like. In retrospect, it feels like 100 small funerals. Each missed call, each "I'll do it later," each casual goodbye that turned out to be the final one. History is full of people who waited. The letter Lincoln's secretary kept meaning to send. The phone call Steve Jobs reportedly made too late to a father he'd spent years avoiding. We are not unique in our delay, which is both a comfort and a condemnation. The hidden system here is avoidance masquerading as patience. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the right moment when really we're terrified of what honesty might cost us in the short term. The cruel irony is that the short-term discomfort of vulnerability is microscopic compared to the long-term weight of permanent silence. Let me address the misconception directly. People think regret is about what you did, but the deepest regret is almost always about what you didn't do. The omissions are heavier than the mistakes every single time. So here's the practical lesson, and I'm gonna say it plainly because you deserve that. Don't size your courage based on your comfort level. Size it based on the stakes. The person you've been meaning to call, the thing you've been meaning to say, that conversation is a position you need to open before the market closes. Discipline here doesn't mean being brave every single day. It means having a process, a recurring reminder, a scheduled call, a letter you write and actually send. Unemotional strategy sounds cold when we're talking about love, but what it really means is not letting fear make the decision for you by default. How do I cope now? Imperfectly, honestly, and without the resolution people seem to want from a story like this. I wrote her a letter anyway after, and I read it out loud alone in my car, which is either poetic or ridiculous, and I've made peace with not knowing which. The philosophical truth I've landed on is this: consistency of intention matters more than perfect execution, and showing up emotionally, even clumsily, beats waiting for the ideal script. Regret is not a punishment, it's information, and the only intelligent response is to let it restructure how you move forward. I'm genuinely comfortable with the uncertainty of whether she knew how I felt, because I believe love communicates even when language fails, and I have to believe that or I will not function. What I'm not comfortable with, and what keeps me honest, is letting that same pattern repeat with anyone still here. The size of your love means nothing if it stays internal. Process it out loud in real time with the actual people who need to hear it. Discipline, consistency, and the willingness to say the uncomfortable thing before the window closes. That is the whole lesson, and it cost me everything to learn it. If you like the video, subscribe and check out all our other topics.